Okay, in last session we discussed about how to create reports, matrix reports, tabular reports using the report server project. And before continuing and also we discussed about how to create parameters. Before continuing with the parameter design and advanced parameter design, uh, let me clear one important point. That is the difference between why we need to use shared data source when you have to create a data source again in every report. For example, I created this shared data source, and again if you see in each and every report I am again creating a data source connection and pointing to this shared data source. And people may ask you why can't you directly create the data source per report? Instead of selecting this shared data source, why can't we embed the data source itself, which is easy than creating the shared data source and giving reference here. The main advantage of having shared data source is, let's say I have 50 reports and I'm using AdventureWorks database as database for my 50 reports. In that case, what I will do is I will create the shared data source first, and then I will use the shared data source in each and every report. This one will help me when there is change in the database. For example, currently I've pointed this one to AdventureWorks DW. Let's say this AdventureWorks DW is changed, or the database where we're having the server is changed, that means the server name is changed, then I can simply come here and change it at one place instead of changing in all the 50 places. So the advantage of having shared data source is whenever there is a change in the database connection, then you can come and simply change in one single place, which will have impact on all the other places. I mean all the places where we have used this shared data source. This is the advantage of having shared data source than data source which is embedded in the report. If I use the data source that is embedded, then I have to come to every report and then edit it, edit the settings, edit the database connection settings in all the 50 places or 60 places where all we're using the data source, embedded data source. So this is very important point to remember. In last class we discussed about how to create parameters and how to make it to accept multiple values and how to pass these values to the query. Now this is the dataset query from where I'm pulling the data, and for this I've passed the parameter value, and this parameter value I map to the parameter value what I've defined here, parameter what I've defined. Now if you see this, the parameter values are not ordered. How to order the parameter values? It will be good if you can order the parameter values so that it will be easy to the user to browse, to navigate to the particular value and select it. So we can do it by ordering the parameter value in dataset. The parameter value for me is English product subcategory name. Okay. Now if you see, the data is ordered. This is how you can order the parameter value. Now it's easy. If I want to select select any parameter which starts with yes, then I can straight away navigate the list where the S starts from, and I can find out. Let's say I want to select the socks. I can find out and I can view my report for the same. This is how you can sort the data in the parameter. Here in this data set, this is the data set I'm using as the source to the parameter. Source means to display the values. And under available values, you can see the data source selected and value field and the label field. When I select this any label from this parameter, the relevant value key field will be sent to the query to filter the data. Now I'm using only two columns from this, product subcategory key and English product subcategory name. In that case, I can ignore the rest remaining columns. The point here is it's better to pull only the required fields into the data set rather than pulling everything, which will create performance issue. Now the report works in the same way, but it's easy for the server to pull only couple of records to a data set, couple of records that are required for the data set. And it's a good practice to use proper naming conventions. For example, if I give the dataset name as subcategory, this one will give a proper meaning. Okay, this dataset is gonna provide data for the parameter subcategory. So this is how we have to follow the naming convention. It should give proper meaning what this particular dataset is meant for, and what this what this connection is meant for. So it's better always to give the proper naming convention, to use the proper naming conventions instead of giving dataset 1, dataset 2, and dataset. Fine, good up to here. Now I want to filter the data based on product category also. How to do that? Let's see how to do that. If you see the output, you can see subcategory, product, and on column wise you can see the category. The categories that are available are bikes, accessories, and clothing. Okay, like this. Now I want to see either bikes or clothing or accessories. So what I have to do? I have to filter the data. Either filter the data or by using the parameters. Filtering the data will not solve my problem. Why? Because it's a performance issue. It will fetch all the data into the data set and then it will filter the data. Instead of that, I feel it is better to filter the data at the query level itself. So for that, what I have to do is I have to create one more parameter and pass the parameter value to the query to filter the data set. Let's see how to create one more parameter. Now the parameter is category, to give proper name, category colon. This prompt is the one what you see here, how I want to name this parameter. This is what will be visible. Whatever you give under prompt, the same thing will be visible there in the parameters. And now allow multiple values. I want to allow multiple values for this, or better not to allow. Why? Because there are very less number of categories and available values. There are no available values as of now. So to fetch the data for this category, I have to create one more data set. That is category underscore ds query select product category key, comma, English product category name, from product category table order by English product category. The table name is not correct. I think it is bin product category. Okay, now the data set is created and I will get the data for product category key and English product category name, which I can use as source to the parameter. Available values, get the values from the query category ds, the value field is key column and the label field is name column. Now let's see the preview. Subcategory is multiple select and category is single select. I can select any one thing from here. Now if I select bikes with shorts and caps, and if I select only accessories, still it is going to fetch all the category data for me, like clothing, accessories, and what are available. Why? Because I have not tagged this value to the where condition of the data set. Just I declare the parameter. I have not passing the parameter value to the query. So I have to modify the query in such a way where dim product subcategory dot so is in the subcategory parameter value and key in, it's not in, it's a single parameter, so I can use is equal to single values, single selection parameter. Product key is equal to @ category. Now parameters, I have to map these two. @ category to category. Now what I've done, I have created the parameter and I created the data set for the parameter and I tagged these two, and then I'm assigning the parameter value to the query. Now let's see whether it's going to filter or not. Oh, it's an ambiguous column, so the same column exists more than once. One time in product subcategory and another time in product category. So let me give table name dot column name so that the ambiguity will be gone. Now I selected 3 and accessories If I click on report, I can see only accessories column information. And if I select bikes, I'll get only bikes and there is no bikes information. And if I select clothing, I'm gonna get only clothing data. So this is how you can add any number of parameters. You can use one parameter for product also. But if you see, you know, the hierarchy for hierarchy is like this. First is category. Under that you will have many products and subcategories. Under each category, each product subcategory, you will have different products. So this is one to many from category to subcategory and one to many from subcategory to product. So how you have to order the parameters, like it should be first category should be the first one and then subcategory, and if you want to create a parameter for products, then it should follow, it should be the third one here in this case. Now let me change the order of the parameters here. Don't know how to change that order. For changing the order of parameters, you have to come here to the just a second. To change the order of this parameters, what you have to do is you have to order the parameters here, the category and subcategory in this case, and how to move this one up. To move this category up, you can use this button up and down, and now you can move it down. Like that, you can select the order of the parameters. Now if you see, the category option is available first, accessories, and then I can select a couple of subcategories and I can view the report. Now there is no data for this condition. Now I have a question. When we have a category, accessories, and this category will have only couple of subcategories, like 10 to 15 subcategories. Now I selected accessories as category option, parameter value. And now, when I selected the beep after shorts and caps, which doesn't belong to sub category accessories, then the data will be null. I'm not going to get anything. It's like this. Let me show you an example. This is my category, this is my subcategory, and this is my product. Let's say subcategory 1 is there, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 categories, and under that there are a couple of subcategories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And the products, product 1 to product 17. Now, if I select this 1 in the first parameter, category as 1, and if I select this 12 as a subcategory parameter, then I am not gonna get data at all. Why? Because the condition will be where category ID is equal to 1 and subcategory ID is equal to 12, which means this combination doesn't occur, that combination is not available in the database table, and hence it is not gonna retrieve any data. If I know that 12 is not the combination with category ID 1, then I'm not going to select. Being a user, I'm not going to select that combination. So how a user will come to know about this? If a user selects category 1, then if I can filter out the subcategories, what are all the subcategories that belongs to category 1, then it will be easy to the user to identify and select the next level parameter which belongs to the first level. Now it will be like this. When the user selects one, subcategories that is going to list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if the user selects subcategory 3, then only one product will be listed in the third parameter so that he can select this option. This one will help the user to select the correct parameter values instead of going for wrong selection. If a user selects category 1 and subcategory 13 and product 4, will not retrieve data at all. Why? Because that combination is not available, and hence it is better to filter out the data. If I can filter this column based on this first selection, and if I can filter the third parameter based on the second parameter selection, this is going to help the users to select valid combinations. And this process is called cascading parameters. These parameters are cascaded based on the first value selection. The second parameter data will be loaded, and based on the third parameter data will be loaded, and there will be like a full length cascading which will help the user to select the valid combinations to retrieve the data. Now let's see, if I select accessories, and if it is gonna list only the accessories related subcategories, then it will be very helpful. Let's see how to do that for one parameter. Now this accessory, this is the first parameter, and I don't need to impose any condition checking here. But for subcategories, whenever the subcategories is getting loaded, it should load only the values that belongs to the value that we're selecting for category parameter. How to do that? By using parameters again. This is my category data set. It will retrieve all the data. It will retrieve all the categories available. But my subcategory should not retrieve all the categories. So I'm giving where condition, where dim product subcategory dot product subcategory key is equal to, it's a single value parameter. My category is single value parameter here, and that's why I'm going for equal to @ category. The filtering that I am doing, using the parameters in the main data set, I'm using a similar one for filtering the parameters also, parameter values. Now I'm retrieving the subcategory values based on the category selection. If I select category accessories, to this where condition, accessories value will be sent. If I select category bikes, the value bikes will be sent to this. Now let's see. If I select accessories, there is some syntax problem. Let me check that. So order by should be at the end after where condition. I'm not observed. Now, if I select the accessories, it listed only the subcategories that related to accessories. You can see bike racks, bike stands, bottles and cages, cleaners, fenders and something. And when you select bikes, it is gonna change the list that is available. These subcategories belongs to the categories. Now, if I select any two things, I'm gonna get, this is a valid condition. I'm gonna get data for this. It's not like the earlier case where you will select some combination and the data is not retrieved. So this is the advantage of having cascading parameters. For example, if I select country India and state some state in USA or in USA, then the data will not be retrieved. Why? Because that's not a valid. It's not possible to have country as India and the state as a state in USA as customer details. So it is always useful to give the valid combinations to the users to select. And if I select clothing, it is going to list only clothing related subcategories. And we're calling it as cascading parameters. The second parameter value is dependent on the first parameter. And if you have a third parameter, and you can make it dependent on the second parameter value. In such a way, let's create one more parameter for products to filter out the products and see how we can alter the value that is coming for product parameter based on the subcategory selection. For that, what we have to do is first create the parameter product, allow multiple values, and there is no data set for this. Add data set. Product underscore ds is the name argument. Here select product key, comma, English product name from dim product, where I have to filter the data based on the subcategory selection, and hence I'll go with product subcategory key. I'll go for in as it is multi-valued parameter. I can select multiple values for subcategory. The data subcat. Order by. I'll order by. English product name. And let me see the subcategory product. I'll pass the subcategory values, whatever the values that I'm going to select for subcategory as parameter value for this data set. Now let me set these available values using the data set 3, what I've created now. Value field is product key and this is product name. And next thing what I have to do is I have to link this to the data set. And product key, I'll make it as multi-value parameter, and that's why I've used in. At the rate of product, the parameter I'm going to select is product. Now let's see how it's going to work. When I select clothing, I should see only clothing related stuff. Let me select 1, 2, 3 subcategories. And the only parameters that belongs to these subcategories will be listed here. See, by seeing the scroll bar, we can identify that the count is very less. And now I'm removing all the things except gloves. I'm going to select only gloves. Then it is going to display only the gloves and the product. In that I'm selecting all large size. How the product performance. I want to find out the product performance for the gloves with the size L. Now if I click on view report, again the ambiguous column problem. dim product dot product key. Now let me select the same combination clothing and gloves, and here all L sized gloves, and you can see only one L size glove is there and the sales is $10849.0700. If you select all the sizes, then you'll get the information for that. This is how you can create cascading parameters. Cascading parameters is only possible when the first parameter key column is available in the second parameter table. The table that you are getting data for the second parameter, and third parameter referencing table should have the key column of the second parameter so that you can filter it out. Okay, then only you can, in that case only you can create the cascading parameters. You can define cascading parameters. Now let's see, these are cascading parameters. If I select clothing, then only I can see only the subcategories related to clothing. And if I select any subcategory, then I can see the products that belong to this particular subcategory selected. Now, in that case, in my data set, why I need to have this where condition for category and subcategory. Anyhow, if I have a where condition for product 5 and product 7, what will be the categories and subcategories? The subcategory will be 5 by automatically and category is 1. And in the same way, subcategory is 11 and category is 3. In that case, why I have to check the condition as this is cascading parameters. In this case, you can filter based on the products alone. Why? Because having the other parameter values condition here in the where will act as same way like having only product condition in the query. Now let's see whether it works or not. This is clothing and I'm selecting only gloves and I'm selecting all the gloves. It's the same. So already the top two are getting filtered and then only I'm showing the product. If there is no link between these two, if these three parameters are not cascading, then you have to provide all the parameter values. You have to pass all the parameter values to your where condition. And this is how we can add cascading parameters in SSRS reports. And this is very useful property feature provided by Microsoft. Okay, this is about cascading parameters, and let me remove this filter parameter first. I don't need it. I use that for just for demo. Now this one will throw error. Why? Because it will try to. I use that parameter value right here. You see where parameter value is equal to so and so. So I have to remove these conditions. Why? Because the parameter is no more available. Where all I have used that parameter value, I have to change it. Okay. Now, you can add the query fields. For example, I've written a data set, and this is my query, and it is written in some 10 records or 4 columns. Now I increased one more. English product subcategory, English category, product name, and I will also included color. Okay. Here automatically it will come. If it doesn't, then you can go here and you can add by providing the color and by providing the field source. What is the field name and source? Source is the column name what is there in the database and what you have written in the select statement, and this is the name what you want to show, like alias name. You can show anything. And in the same way, you can create a calculated column. calculated field. It is based on existing fields. For example, I'm writing a calculation, cal text. In that, this is expression page. Don't worry much about expression page. I'm going to write a simple calculation and we will discuss about this expression page in next classes. So the expression is sales amount into 2. So wherever we have a sales amount of XYZ, it should return XYZ into 2. This is my calculation field text. Let me add it in the same group. Insert column inside the group to the right. Let me take this here, cal text, and let's see whether it is calculating properly or not. Oops. So this one should be sum expression. Oops. Now let's go to preview, clothing, and I'm selecting all the subcategories and all the products. If you see, it got double. Last time it returned as is data. It didn't group properly. Why? Because I have not given sum. While writing a group by statement, what you will do, select sum of sales amount, comma, English product name from fact internet sales, inner join product table, group by product name. So in the same way, I have not given sum, that's why it has written some wrong data. Now this is how you can add the calculations, calculated columns to your existing data set. Okay, and this is how we can create a calculated column and cascading parameters. In today's class, we discussed how to create cascading parameters and how to filter the data based on cascading parameters, and how to create calculated columns based on the column data or fields of a data set. And even without using any field, you can create a calculated column like by giving dummy value is 2. I'm just right away giving value 2. It will assign value 2 for each and every record, and it will sum up. It will sum and it will display the output. Let's say, for example, for a particular product, I have 10 records, 10 twos will be set, and it will sum up and it will give the data to us. Let me show you that. You see, there are 904 divided by 2. That many number of transactions for this long sleeve logo jersey with size L. So for every record, a 2 number will be placed and it will be summed up and give the aggregated information. Gives the aggregated information like you are seeing here. And this is about calculated fields and cascading parameters. In next class, we are gonna discuss about headers, footers, and many more. Thank you.